On the couch of his house rented with his roommate, Dolvin sits in worry. On the table are groceries best described as food for prison, some less than ideal vegetables, greens left unpicked by other buyers, and the most worrisome, 2 oxfishes. Oxfishes were native to the homeworld of the reptilian Varkan, where they are farmed and fished for food. Ever since their introduction to the wider galaxy, they have brought along with them their oxfish. These fish have 2 protrusions on their head, which what made them earned that name. Today it is considered by most as the trash fish of the galaxy because of their bland taste, tough and slimy meat, and smelly organs that would make the room it was cleaned in smells like death. Dolvin stares at the 2 oxfishes, each weighing around 1 kilogram. How is he supposed to prepare these trash fish into something edible? Silently, he prays to God to send for him a solution. "I'm back," a voice said as the door opens. A Southeast Asian man stops as he sees the groceries on the table. "Ridwan, thank God you're back." Dolvin stood up in excitement. His head feathers stood in an expression of joy, along with a smile on his mouth that are connected to his small beak. "What's up, man? Why do you bought that much grocery?" Ridwan asked, putting his coat on the hanger. "My family. They said they're coming today." Dolvin clutched his hips, a gesture he learnt from Ridwan. "Today? Aren't they supposed to be here next week?" Ridwan inspects the groceries Dolvin bought. "Yes, but my parents said the school my siblings go to got earlier holiday this year, so they decided to come today. That's why I bought these groceries, if you can even call it that." Dolvin points at the groceries and particularly the oxfishes. "Guess you were pretty late to the market, huh?" Ridwan takes the grocery bags with him to the kitchen. "Yeah, when I get there, it's all that I could get. There was this beautiful red snapper I saw, but someone else already bought it, so I'm left with those trash fish instead. They're the last ones, too." Dolvin follows his roommate to the kitchen. "So, you want me to make these oxfish into good food?" Ridwan giving a side glance to Dolvan. "Yes. You're the better cook between us, and you even worked at a restaurant. You ought to know how to make it taste good," Dolvin begged. "I only cook as a hobby, and the restaurant I worked for isn't some fancy ones. But I'll help you out. But you have to help me with this. I can't do it alone," Ridwan said, crossing his arms. "Yes, anything. So long I can give good food for my family when they arrive." Dolvin smiles with joy. "All right, but you gotta buy me a new proper knife after this. I need you to mince 2 onions, 8 garlic cloves, and 4 shallots. Then cut a thumb of ginger and skin it. I also need you to prepare the steamer for me after that." Ridwan starts cleaning the oxfish in the sink. "On my way." Dolvin hastily starts mincing the ingredients he was told to. Masterfully, Ridwan cleaned the oxfish, then he filleted both, putting the head and bones in a separate container. He pours salt onto the fillets before rubbing and lightly squishing it, taking off the slime from the fillets. Beside him, Dolvin prepares the ingredients as best and fast as he could. He is no cook, but even he can cut things. Once done, he took a large pan along with a bamboo steamer and put them in the stove with water ready inside the pan. Although he is joyful that his friend and roommate are willing to help him, he is worried that the fish will end up barely edible, and he would ruin his family's holiday and visit. After Ridwan cleaned the fillets off of its slime, he puts it in the steamer and lets it steam for 20 minutes. In the meantime, he puts the chopped ingredients and fry it in a saucepan until they're brown and fragrant. Then he pours enough coconut milk to fill the saucepan 3/4 of the way before putting in the ginger, turmeric powder, cinnamon sticks, star anise, peppercorns, bay leaves, orange leaves, and lemongrass, along with salt, sugar, and the famous MSG. Dolvin is told to keep stirring the coconut milk as it simmer for some 20 minutes, as Ridwan took out the fillets from the steamer and then put the head and bones of the oxfish into the steamer. The fillet's still hot and steamy, but it seems like the steaming did soften the meat into palatable standard. Van, can you marinate the fillet with some lime juice and salt? I'll take care of the coconut milk, Ridwan said. Cutting up some limes and squishing the juice out into the oxfish fillets, Dolvan notices how the fish still smells, even after steaming. He suspects that this marinating with lime and salt will remove that smell from the meat. But what about the head and bones? He thought. But he trusts Ridwan with this. He is not some amateur cook. He could make a king happy with his meals. Meanwhile, Ridwan starts mincing some tomatoes and garlic along with onions and other vegetables, all the while stirring the coconut milk to keep it from breaking. Before long, Ridwan told Dolvan to take out the head and bones and do the same marinating to it, answering the question he had before. Once again, the two switched position as Dolvan is to keep stirring on the coconut milk while he replaced the pan and steamer into a frying pan. Ridwan puts the marinated head and bones of the oxfish into the coconut milk soup and told Dolvan to keep stirring as it simmer. Ridwan fires up the stove once more, putting a bit of oil into the pan before he plunges the minced garlic and onion into it. He stirs it around until the fragrance of the garlic spreads. Then he pours some fish sauce, imported straight from Earth. The sudden less than pleasant smell of the fish sauce nearly caught Dolvan off guard. Putting the minced tomatoes into the pan, Ridwan then cooked them until the onion liquefies before he put some salt, sugar, MSG, a bit of water, and some cornstarch, turning it into a sauce. Putting away the sauce, Ridwan puts some oil into the pan and starts frying the oxfish fillets on it. Keeping the flame at medium heat, he aims for the fillet to be cooked inside out perfectly. The smell coming from the fillets is unexpected. Dolvan is perplexed at how oxfish can smell this good. As the fillets turns golden brown, Ridwan takes it out of the pan and does it again for the next fillet until all were cooked before he puts back the sauce he made before, mixing the sauce and the fish bits that was left from the fillet cooking. A sudden knocking on the door alerted both of them, sending Dolvan to check on the door. As he does so, Ridwan checked on the soup, finding the fish head and bones have gone tender from the cooking, and turns off the stove. "Mom, Dad, welcome. I hope the journey isn't too tiring. Hey there, buds." Dolvan greets his family that has arrived, his father, his mother, and two younger brothers, both still in school. "It wasn't as tiring, Dolvan. By the way, what is it that you're cooking? It smells wonderful," Dolvan's father said, setting down his and his wife's luggage. "It's my friend Ridwan that I told you. He's cooking a special meal for us." Dolvan points to the kitchen with his hand. "Hello, the food will be ready shortly." Ridwan peeks out and waves at them. Dolvan and his family began chatting, leaving Ridwan to prepare the last steps of the dish on his own. Luckily, this step is all but difficult as he prepares 6 plates to put the 4 fillets he have all cut in half and put 2 cut on the fridge for them in the morning. In each plate is half a fillet of oxfish with the sauce, along with a portion of rice. Onto a large bowl, he scooped up one of the oxfish head and bones, along with generous amount of the dull yellow broth. "Here's come the food," Ridwan said, carrying all 6 plates on his hands onto the dinner table. "Did you bought tuna for us, brother?" one of Dolvan's younger brother asked. "Ha ha, it's not tuna, Micah, but it's a fish. I'll tell you what it is once you've eaten," Dolvan said, leading his family to the dinner table. "Please dig in," Ridwan said after putting the large bowl on the center of the table. After praying according to their beliefs, everyone started eating. At the first bite of the fish with the rice, Dolvan's father's eyes widen in surprise. "This is amazing! What fish is this? I've never had fish such as these before." "I want you to guess, Dad," Dolvan replied, releasing a huge sigh of relief internally. Is it red snapper? No, it doesn't have that much sweetness of crabs like them." He wonders. "Is it barramundi? Is this fish that?" Dolvan's youngest brother asked, a piece of fish and rice still on his right hand. "Nice guess, but it's not." Dolvan smiled. "Come on, son. Tell us. I want to know so I could cook something like this at home," Dolvan's mother said. It's Oxfish, Ridwin said with a smile. That's a nice joke. Dolvin's father chuckled. He's serious, Dad, Dolvin said. Come on, Oxfish. Those things are fertilizer where we came from, he replied, still not believing. Then check this out, Ridwin said as he lifted the very distinguishable head of an oxfish from the soup. All of Dolvin's family's eyes widened in surprise. Well, that really is an oxfish. I never knew they could be cooked like this, Dolvin's father said, eating another piece of the fish. You have to give me the recipe, Ridwin, Dolvin's mother said to Ridwin. Of course I'll give you tomorrow morning before I go to work. He smiled. Give me the head. I want to taste it. Dolvin's father pointed at the soup. How do you know to prepare oxfish like this? Dolvin's mother asked. Well, I cook as a hobby and often watch cooking videos from Earth. I know oxfish have slimy meat, kind of like octopus, so I rub and squish them with salt to take out the slime. I also steam the meat before cooking to tenderize them. The rest is just how I would prepare fish back at home, Ridwin explains. That night, a family eats in joy and laughter, enjoying what most considered as the worst fish in the galaxy, turned into fine meals by the hands of a human. At that point, Dolvin realized that humanity's greatest advantage is their creativity and ingenuity.